What if AI could help you find answers to life's biggest question straight from Bhagavad Gita? In this video, I'll show you how to build an AI system that retrieves verses from the Gita and answers any question you ask. For example, here is a question. I often feel lost in my life. How do I find my true purpose? And the AI answers, I can sense your feelings of being lost in life. It's a common experience many people face. And also it quotes some text from Bhagavad Gita directly. And it also gives us the context directly from Bhagavad Gita that it is using to answer to this particular question. So if I search this particular text, I see that it is directly from Bhagavad Gita. If you are intrigued, then stay till the end as we build this AI powered spiritual guide together using LLaMA model and the Retrieval-Augmented Generation, where we are not going to need any API key. Everything is going to be locally in your system. One question one might ask is why use this complicated method and why we cannot just ask ChatGPT. For example, I can ask this question directly to ChatGPT and prompt it to give me answers from Gita itself. But the problem is hallucination. Large language models like ChatGPT can confidently generate incorrect responses. You never really know if the answer is factually from the Gita or just made up. To solve this particular issue, we use Retrieval-Augmented Generation, or RAG in short. This method ensures that AI retrieves verses from Bhagavad Gita and uses them to generate answers. Now comes the part how we can avoid hallucination using RAG. So in Retrieval-Augmented Generation, we not only give it the question that we want to ask, but we also give it some context which actually belongs to the Gita itself or the relevant document. And we ask the LLM, use this context, and from this context, answer me this question. So with that, what happens is it can quote things like this. So just as a living being acquire a childhood body, and it is present in your context. So you know that the model is not hallucinating. And now comes the problem that how do you get this context from a large corpus? Because Bhagavad Gita has 18 chapters, which is a long corpus of text. For reference, I'm going to use this particular PDF as my reference for Bhagavad Gita. It is a translated version of Gita into English. It has all the 18 chapters. You cannot load the entire, you can load technically, but it's not, you have to use a lot of tokens and it will take a lot of time for processing. So we need to split it into manageable chunks so that our AI can efficiently search for relevant information. Now second comes how we can chunk the text. So for example, this is our text corpus we have. So for example, we say we are going to take 200 words as our chunk limit. Like each chunk will contain 200 words. The very simplest method. There are many advanced methods, but for this particular case, I just stick to the simplest one. This will be my chunk 1. This will be my chunk 2, chunk 3, and so on and so forth. After that, what I will do, I will get an text encoder. So what this bi-encoder model does, it takes a corpus of text and converts it into a vector. In this case, the vector has 384 dimension. As from the entire Gita, I get total 431 chunks like this. And each chunk has a dimension of 384. So finally, my vector database is consist of 431 rows and 384 columns. Another part is now how we are going to retrieve the chunks which are similar to the question asked by the user. For that, we are going to do a similarity search. And here an example. For example, let's say we have two sentences. Python is a great language for data science, and the weather today is sunny and warm. We first encode it using our bi-encoder. We get two vectors, and our query is I love programming language. I love programming in Python. So our goal is to find which of these two sentences is closer to this query. So for that, we'll also pass this through the bi-encoder and we get a vector. And then we do basically a distance calculation between this vector and this two vector, whichever is the closest. We choose that particular sentence or chunk to be similar to this one. Here I plotted this all this text, and you see that when I plot them in a two-dimensional space, I see that text sentences related to Python. Python is a great language. I love programming. All are grouped together. Here artificial intelligence and robotics are grouped together, and here daily conversation like the weather, feeling hungry, stock market, and they are all grouped together. So right now what I can do, suppose my query is I love programming in Python. I can retrieve closest sentence by using a distance metric. Now let's put it all together and see how it works. So let's say the query is there an afterlife and what happens after we die? So this is the question the user asked. We'll use our bi-encoder to convert it into vector. And then we'll do a similarity search in our vector database, where vector database is just a vectorized format of the entire Gita text. Then we'll look for most similar text. So here you see this particular text chunk has 0.48 similarity with this one. The next text chunk, the nature of eternal being, it has little less similarity with this one, so on and so forth. We retrieve, let's say 4, 5, 6, 10, depending upon your use case. For this case, I retrieve 5 such chunks. And after that, I add that back to my query. So now my modified query becomes like this. It becomes, is there an afterlife? What happens when we die? But answer to this question given this context. So this avoids the large language model to hallucinate, and we are ensured that whatever answer to give is given to us by the LLM is true. So let me ask another question here. Why does God allow suffering and evil in the world? And here we get our answer. The question of why God allows suffering is complex one. According to Bhagavad Gita, suffering is a natural part of life and it's caused by the action of individual. So let's say this is the quote it gave us. Let's search. So yeah, you see, this is the actual text that has been retrieved from the Gita, and the suffering is a destiny of ignorant. It is completely quoting this particular text. So we know that the model is not hallucinating and giving us the real answer. It also quoted other part as well. This one, the gates of heaven open wider for those who stand up to vindicate justice and righteousness. So yeah, that was all about this video. If you are interested in this topic and you want me to make a technical tutorial of how I did it exactly by line, I would like you to like in this particular video. I'm targeting 50 likes. If this video get 50 likes, then I will be publishing the detailed tutorial of how I did this on YouTube. Thank you very much for your support and stay curious.